Now I've already highlighted Epipremnum aureum on 365 Days of Plants, but I think it's worthwhile to highlight some of the cultivated varieties because there are many out there and they're also very common. So it's nice when somebody says, oh, I actually have that in my collection. Now this is Epipremnum aureum Enjoy, and it's a popular cultivar. I kind of saw it come out in the market, more or less like maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And this is just a cutting of one that I have. And this fabulous looking pot is actually not a pot. It was a candle. And I didn't even like the scent of the candle, but I loved it for the pot. So, and I've been growing this in this planter specifically for probably about 2 years. And it just started with one node and a couple leaves. So you could see that it hasn't grown an intense amount, but I also just only have it kind of in the interior of my space and underneath a grow light, but kind of back from the grow light. So it's just getting a little bit more ambient ancillary light. But I really do love this cultivated variety because you'll see like the marble queen pothos, which has green with little specklings of white. And then this one's a lot creamier and it doesn't have speckles. It has like more of, kind of like a painterly finish to the leaf, if you will. But this is, no different than Epipremnum aureum. You're going to want to give this kind of a little bit more medium light. I've had this growing in a little more highlight conditions. I have tried it in lower light conditions, however, and I think because of the variegation, it doesn't do very well. So I had it a little bit more in my interior space, getting a little bit more just ambient light, so no grow light whatsoever. And it eventually failed. It probably took about 6 months for it to fail, but I just want I want to be mindful of that because I think some of the regular Epipremnum aureums, the green varieties, actually work a little bit better in those situations, whereas this with the variegation just probably needs a little extra sunlight in order to be able to produce the food that it needs in order to be able to survive. So as far as fertilizing this goes, during the growing season, you could give it a little bit more like a well-balanced fertilizer. Maybe it's a 20-20-20, maybe it's a 10-10-10. That's if you're going the more synthetic route. Or if you're going the more organic route, you could get like a 1-1-1 or a 2-2-2 in there. And you could do it on a bi-weekly basis. Because usually during the spring and summer months, if you're giving it a little bit more adequate light, then it will actually start to put out a lot of more growth. And you could easily propagate it like I did here, and you could see that it has all these little nodes kind of growing off of it, as you could see. And you could just clip it behind one of those nodes, make sure that you have like a leaf or two on it, and then you could stick it into water, you could stick it into soil substrate, and away it will grow. And then of course, these have a tendency to get long and scraggly, so if you want to just like cut them back and not even take any propagations, but just cut it back, then it'll start to kind of bush out as opposed to hanging long and down and maybe having long internodes. So you can see that this one, even though I'm not growing it in such highlight conditions, has very short internodes and it has a little bit more of a bushy appearance, even though it's actually just one stem. But I haven't had any kind of pest pressures whatsoever with this plant. I mean, generally, pothos have been good to me. Epipremnum aureums have been good to me. I have had some mealybugs in other ones, but this one has been saved from any type of mealybug damage.